With the events involving the captives and the Legion raiding party behind me, I continued my way north towards Novac and, hopefully, to the man I was really hunting. The wounds I had received from the fight had all but healed, as the hole in my shoulder was nothing more than a slightly numb sensation now, as the stim pack had knit the wound quite well. As I continued down the road, I saw a line of cars, sandbags, and what looked like a lookout tower. I paused for a moment and took a look at it through my binoculars. An NCR checkpoint it had to be. I had run into them many times and had even been stationed at them during my time serving the NCR. Pick an important point of passage on a road and set up a defensive position to patrol and maintain control in the area. I moved forward and noticed an NCR ranger standing guard. He nodded at me and I decided to take a look around the outpost. Not sure why I wanted to. Maybe it was the memories coming back to me. All those time arriving at a little base like this after a long haul across the wastes. The relief of some sort of safety as I slept, or even the soothing feeling of a hot meal and a warm bed instead of the cold ground. I made my way into the station proper and was met by a ranger officer who wasn't too pleased to have a non-combatant wandering around his station.
McCarran doesn't like it when civilians wander into military outposts, so if you're here on business, better make it quick.
Sorry, I was just passing through and wondering if you all could give me some information about the area.
All quiet at the moment. Ranger Beaumont is in charge here, but he's off leading a patrol.
Tell me a little about the station, if you wouldn't mind.
Ranger Station Charlie. We're responsible for keeping the highway up through Novac civilized.
What was that you mentioned about McCarran? Is that your CO?
Radio signal out here can be pretty spotty because of all the hills. Sometimes our scheduled updates don't go through. When it happens enough times, they send someone over to check up on us. Lately, we've been getting extra medical supplies for some reason. I'm in no rush to give the supplies back, either.
Tell me a little about the Rangers. I've met only a few before.
We're part scout, part commando, part sheriff. The training is brutal, and I'd say 8 out of 10 recruits washes out before the end. Before you get your ranger badge, you've got to prove you can be quieter than a shadow, and more ferocious than a deathclaw.
How many Rangers are there in the Mojave?
Couple dozen, I'd say. Most of them posted at stations like this one. We either man the station or patrol the immediate area.
And how does someone become a Ranger?
The Rangers mostly draw from the basic NCR army. A trooper who shows exceptional skill at fighting and scouting can be nominated for the training.
Well, it was good to chat with you, sir. I need to be on my way, though.
Sure.
Good luck out here.
See you around.
I left the NCR outpost and continued on in the direction of Novac. I had never met many Rangers, even during my time as a scout. But the ones I had met were as tough as Brahmin leather and as dangerous as a pissed-off rad scorpion. I had considered applying, but my duty as a scout appealed to me and was never one for law enforcement. The NCR wasn't my favorite group in the wastes, and my dislike of that government ran deep at the moment, but my respect for the soldiers had never wavered. They were facing increasingly bad odds in the war against the Legion while still trying to maintain some semblance of peace and civility in the territory they held. But in the midst of all that, the Rangers had stood without faltering. I had heard about their stand at the Boulder City during the first battle for Hoover Dam, and that story had become something of a legend that I struggled to disbelieve. It took another half hour before Novac came into view over the horizon, marked by a 40-foot-tall dinosaur statue. I felt that similar excitement well up in my stomach, the feeling you get while hunting when you catch a faint hint of your quarry. Maybe it was just a faint hope, but I loaded and readied my weapons all the same as I made my way into town. I started for the motel at the base of the statue, knowing that if anyone had passed through town and stayed, then that would be where I would find them. There wasn't much to the town, just a few homes, an old Brahmin pen and some makeshift tents and abandoned old buildings. This was more of an outpost than a town, a place for travelers to stop and resupply or rest before moving on. The kind of place where you were more likely to meet a drifter like me than someone who actually lived there. As I approached the motel, I saw something that caused me to stop. Victor, the robot who had dug me out the grave in Good Springs, was waiting just outside the hotel. It felt like I was being followed, so I decided to see what the robot was up to.
Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit if it ain't my old friend from Good Springs.
I'm surprised to see you again. What seemed to bring you to Novac?
Don't rightly know. I just got the notion to make my way to New Vegas. Reckon I'll find out when I get there.
Quite a coincidence, you and I meeting up again. You're not following me, are you?
Seeing how this is the only road around, I'd be a sight more surprised if we didn't run into each other from time to time.
You did say the men who tried to kill me were coming this way, didn't you?
No, don't believe I did. But you might ask around. The Novac folk usually see anyone traveling this way.
Well, I got some business to attend to. Something tells me I'll be seeing you again real soon.
Be seeing you.
With that, I left the robot and headed for the entrance to the front office of the motel. I didn't trust that robot. Something was off about it, like it was hiding something from me. I ignored my thoughts on the matter and proceeded inside to see if I could get some info on the men who tried to kill me. Inside, I was met by an old woman who greeted me.
Hey there. Well, welcome to you. You look tired from the road. Why don't you relax a spell? Let this fine town take care of you.
We haven't met yet. Mind telling me your name?
Oh, what am I doing? I got to thinking about making a good impression and plain forgot to tell you my name. I'm Jeannie May. I take care of folks here at the motel, long as they aren't troublemakers.
I'm Rubin, a courier from out west. I haven't been to Novac before. Anything you can tell me about the place?
We're in a little desert oasis, name of Novac. This is the Dino Delight Motel, and it's mine.
Anything around town that a drifter like me would find interesting?
Well, there's Dinky, the town mascot. He's a sight. You probably already saw him when you came in, but you can go up inside, too. Up the road a ways to the west, there's Repcon. That's the old rocket factory. There's been some sinister characters out there lately, so you may want to stay clear. Other than that, nothing to do but take it easy and enjoy good company. Well, up north a ways, you'll see a big tower. That's Helios 1. Used to be a power plant in its day. And there's a town just east of here called Nelson. Used to be such a quaint little place until those slavers took it over. But we got our wonderful snipers keeping an eye in that direction, and so far, the slavers have left us alone.
Tell me a little more about that Repon facility.
I just know what I've heard. There's supposed to be some ghouls that went in a while back. Ever so often, there'll be a commotion from that direction, explosions and such. Watch out for strangers.
She ended our conversation, and though I was planning on renting a room, I decided to have a look around first. I still needed to ask her about the man in the suit, but I doubt she knew much. I exited the office and made my way over to the Dinosaur as Mrs. Crawford had mentioned a store inside. I entered and was greeted by the establishment's owner.
Welcome to the Dino Bite gift shop. My name's Cliff. If you're here for the T-Rex figurines, you're just in time. There's still a few left.
I immediately asked him if a man in a checkered suit had passed through recently.
Sure, but he didn't buy any souvenirs, if that's what you're wondering. Sounded like he didn't have his money with him. His friends seemed disappointed about it. Heck, I would be too if I found such a fine store and left my money elsewhere. Manny might know more about him. Thought he might have been friends with one or two of them. He's up in the dino mouth during the day.
Before I leave, what do you sell here at this establishment?
Well, there's T-Rex figurines, of course. That's our bread and butter. We also have an assortment of the Repcon factory souvenirs, rockets, things of that nature.
What about guns and ammo? Do you carry those?
Guns? Well, yeah, I guess I might have a few. Darn it, no one ever buys the T-Rexes.
Let me see what you have for sale then.
Sure thing. Have a look.
I traded what I could with the man, picking up as much ammo as I could. My next stop was a conversation with the sniper he had mentioned named Manny. I concluded our business.
Come back soon now.
And then made my way up the ladder in the back to the top of the Dinosaur, where Manny greeted me.
What's going on, man?
Heard you might have some information that I need. If you are who I'm looking for.
I'm Manny. I'm on security detail here. You see a rifle barrel sticking out of the dinosaur's mouth, you got a 50-50 shot it's me. Otherwise, it's Boone.
What do you protect the town from?
You name it. Anything that comes within 1,000 yards that looks like trouble. Lately, we've been getting ghouls, coming from the road to Repcon out to the west. Quite a few last couple days. The big threat is the Legion coming from the east. If they decide to attack with a full force, they'll run us over. But so far, we've been lucky.
Who's Boone?
Boone's a sniper, same as me. Used to spot for him when we were enlisted with the NCR. After we got out, I talked him into settling down here. So, here we are. I'd introduce you, but, we're not so friendly right now.
Fellow soldiers are usually close. What happened between you two?
Me and his wife, we didn't see eye to eye on some things. We had some pretty big arguments. One day, she turns up missing, and he hasn't said a word to me since.
What did you all argue about?
Man, you name it. See, I grew up in North Vegas. Me and my cousins, we were some bad seeds. Got in with a gang, I loved it. Then something happened, and I couldn't handle it anymore. So, I enlisted, earned my future, brought down my best friend to share that future with me. And here was this woman who was too good for it, trying to take him away. So yeah, I didn't see eye to eye with the bitch.
I did my time with the NCR. What was your tour like?
Oh, it was great. I wouldn't trade it. Something about that lifestyle, the discipline, seeing new places, making people safe. What's not to like?
So why'd you leave?
Well, I just felt like it was time, you know? Wanted to have a home. Plus, I was up at Camp Golf when Bitter Springs went down. I faked like I was sick to get out of going because I knew some of the people there. But when everybody came back, nobody would tell me what happened, and people would call us murderers sometimes when we showed up to secure towns.
I'd heard rumors about something that went down there. Do you know what happened at Bitter Springs?
I still don't know exactly. Just that a lot of people died who didn't want to be a part of the fighting at all. I don't blame anybody for it. There's so much chaos when you're fighting. You're lucky not to shoot your own guys. But it did take something out of it for me. It just wasn't the same. So when it came time to re-enlist, I just took my papers and walked.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pry so much. What I really came to ask you about was a man in a checkered suit. Seen anyone like that around here recently?
Sure I know him. What do you want with him?
I got a score to settle with him.
Doesn't surprise me. Guy seemed like he'd do whatever it takes to get what he wants. Probably makes a lot of enemies. Well, listen, I can definitely help you find him, but I've got problems of my own. Maybe we can do a trade. You need my help. There's something I need too.
Nothing is free in the wastes. What do you need from me in exchange for the information?
Novac, it's home for me now. I want that to be for good. I like it here, and I've left too many homes behind. But the only resource we got here is junk. Without that, people wouldn't have anything to trade. They'd all have to leave. We get most of it up the road from the old rocket test site, but a bunch of ghouls showed up one day and took it over. We can't get in there now.
Okay, give me the details of the job. What do you need done?
Well, they gotta go, or this'll be a ghost town before long. Doesn't matter to me what you do. As long as the ghouls are out of there, that's good enough for me.
Fair enough. I'll get rid of the ghouls, and you give me my information.
It'd mean a lot to me. Yeah, see ya.
I said goodbye to the sniper, and then made my way down and out of the statue with a new goal in mind. I couldn't be too upset with a man. Out here, you needed all the help you could get, and with only 2 of them watching the roads, they wouldn't be able to head out and deal with the ghouls without leaving the town unprotected. That would be as bad for business as the ghouls. It was late in the day, and I knew it would be a bad idea to head into ghoul territory in the dark. Ghouls were easy to fight, but in the dark they could close distance quick before I could take them out. Instead, I made my way around to another room of the motel, one with the door propped open and sign that said, Ranger Andy. I entered, and inside I saw an older man who slowly got to his feet. He had a visible limp and grunted painfully as he stood.
We haven't met yet. You must be new in town. I'm Andy.
I'm Rubin. Pleasure to meet you. You're with the NCR, I take it.
Was with them. That was back when my arm and leg used to work better. I still like to pretend I'm a ranger, though. I'll check in with the guys up at the station pretty regular on the ham radio. Sometimes they stop by, tell me they're paying their respects, the smug bastards. They haven't been responding to me last couple days. I guess they got tired of hearing me talk, but it still got me a little worried. Hell, listen to me talk, like some damn mother hen.
I just passed by there and everything was fine. If it makes you feel better, though, I can check in with them next time I'm heading south.
No. They're gonna think I'm having trouble letting go. They're good soldiers. I don't give them enough credit.
Not to pry, but I noticed the limp. Were you wounded while serving?
Yeah, twice. Actually, the first time it was more like half my body. Knocked me out of the Rangers. This time, it's mostly just reminded me how useless I've gotten.
What happened?
A few years back, we get a tip that some Legion slavers were holed up in this burnt-out house a few clicks from where we were stationed. We get there and it's deserted. No sign anyone's been there. I mean, nothing. As we're leaving, I hear something behind me. I turn around and there's this kid, just skin and bone, and he's looking up at us and he's scared half to death. Been hiding in a closet.
Hiding from the Legion, I expect. What did you do?
I go to grab him out of there and I notice he's holding something in his hand. Something metal. He shuts himself back in the closet and that's when I see the grenade he's left by my feet. They do it a lot, the Legion, using kids. They know we'll hesitate. Anyway, that was the first time. Second time, I fell down those stairs in front of the motel, just in case I got to thinking I'd put it all behind me.
I've seen the Legion's work firsthand, so that doesn't surprise me. Bunch of cowards, using kids like that. So, what have you been doing since then?
Right now, a whole lot of sitting on my keister and counting cracks in the ceiling. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. On better days, I help keep the peace. Boone and Vargas watch the road. I watch the town. Tell myself I'm doing some good.
Why don't you tell me a little about the Rangers? Maybe take your mind off of all that sitting around.
They're the NCR's finest. A one-man platoon, each of them. You got a job where even thinking about it would scare a man senseless? That's when you bring in the Rangers. And if you see a squad of veterans, guys who are in their black armor, well, you won't find a more beautiful sight.
Well, it was good to meet you. I'll make sure I drop by if I ever get a chance to check in with that Ranger station.
Hey, wait a sec. I know what I said, but if you find yourself by Ranger Station Charlie, let me know what you find. I'd be interested.
With that, I left the Ranger's room and realized it was getting late. I really felt for an old soldier like that. Giving your body for the Republic, and now stuck in the middle of nowhere feeling forgotten. Sometimes it made me feel as though dying on the battlefield would be a better end than living to see those later days. The way I was going, there was a pretty high chance of that happening. I made my way over to the front office again to see if I could rent a room for the night.
I hope you're finding everything to your liking.
I would like to rent a room for the night.
Well, I think that's a fine idea. I'll give you a good flat rate, and you can stay as long as you like. At least until the busy season comes. Sound good?
Thank you. Here's the 100 caps.
I'm glad you can stay with us. Your room will be the one upstairs, closest to the lobby side. Here's your key. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make your stay better for you.
Before I head up, do you mind telling me what's been going on in town recently?
Well, let's see. Dusty McBride's been losing some Brahmin, but that's probably the heat more than anything. Honestly, it's been real quiet. Ranger Andy's still hurt, but we got these two gentlemen snipers watching the road day and night, keeping the trash out of Novac. They've been a blessing.
Well, thank you. Have a good night, ma'am.
Watch out for strangers.
I left the office and started up to my room, feeling the exhaustion of the day finally begin to wash over me. In the past 2 days, I had killed a rad scorpion queen, trailed a group of slavers across the wastes, rescued a pair of hostages, and made it all the way to Novac while still in one piece. I was tired, though, and the comfort of the room was soothing. I took a look around the place and had to laugh at how nice it would be to actually use a normal bathroom for once. I found a safe in the front of the room and I used it to store some of my valuables and the things I didn't want to keep on me while taking on a ravenous pack of ghouls. I wanted to be light and nimble, in case things took a turn for the worst. I wasn't worried about that at the moment. Instead, I laid down on that soft mattress and closed my eyes, allowing my mind to drift off into an uninterrupted sleep.